What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. This is day number 2 of recording stuff for World / Burning Shadows / whatever you want to call it. I am Josh Squeaky Mark with Team Fish Knuckles, and on the left we have Chris, and you saw his videos from earlier. He is playing the Espeon Garbodor deck, and on the right we have Kenton playing the Decidueye Golisopod deck. Now, if you didn't see either of these players' decks, links down below in the description to see their videos, talk about their deck list and everything like that. You definitely want to watch this before you watch the video, so that way you know what's in what decks. Now, the Golisopod is the new Pokemon from Burning Shadows that we're really going to focus on here. It has 210 HP. It's got the attack First Impression. It does 30. If this Pokemon was on your bench, it became your active Pokemon this turn. This attack does 90 more damage. And then it has Armor Press 100. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 20 less damage from attacks. And its GX is actually pretty good, and that is Crossing Cut. It does 150. Switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. Now, the Golisopod, there is like a billion different ways you can play this deck on right now. And right now we're playing the Decidueye variant. Ken is in love with Decidueye just like I am. And then, of course, after, you know, Worlds, the Forest of Giant Plants is getting that Ban Hammer in the expanded format. It will no longer be legal in Standard, so you don't have to worry about that ruling at all, because it's not legal anymore, so we don't have to worry about that. But in Expanded, it will get banned, which is very unfortunate. Now, Chris's side, he is playing that Espeon Garb deck. Now, with Espeon Garb, he does play that Flareon, so you'll be able to hit the Golisopod and the Decidueye for weakness if he does get that Flareon set out, making where his stage 1 Pokemon are fire types as well. But here's Coin Flip, and his tails. I am not sure who is going first, but Kenton does play Super Scoop Ups to return those Pokemon back in his hand. He does play Accelerator, which returns one Pokemon back to his hand that is damaged, which is really nice. And we're going to see both players are going to get set up against 6 new cards. I think it's Acerola. I think it's Acerola. It's basically almost like a new AZ, but like almost better, except they have to be damaged. So it's definitely a weird card. But here we go, guys. We see that Kenton does start with a Tapu Koko, which has that free treat, which is fantastic because you can Golisopod. You know, you can like Super Scoop Up with the Golisopod back in your hand and take a knockout. Now on the Kenton's turn, if he gets a Forced, a Wimpod, and Golisopod and Energy, he actually can knock out this Trubbish turn 1. If he can get this knockout, because he can retreat, Golisopod can come up and swing because he will be able to First Impression. So we see Ultra Ball. I'm not sure what card he just discarded there. I'm not sure what card that is. I am very sorry. Oh, it's a Decidueye and a VS Seeker. Looks like the players got worse this game for some odd reason. The table hasn't been moved yet, so I don't know what's happening. But we see Kenton going to Ultra Ball, discard a Tapu Lele and a VS Seeker. Now, with this, he could grab a Wimpod because he doesn't. He already has Shaman in hand, so he can set up with Shaman. With the Wimpod, he'll be threatening a turn 2 knockout. He does have a Float Stone in hand and a Shaman, so he can put down that Wimpod, put a Float Stone on it to give that free retreat, and then Shaman for multiple cards. And if he can find a Grass Energy, Forest, and a Golisopod, he can take a knockout and just win turn 1, which is very scary. So let's see what Kenton does. He's got a Grass Energy as well, and a Float Stone, and a Shaman. Going to set up for 5. Does he find a Forest Golisopod? Oh, baby. He's got another Wimpod coming down, and it does not look like he has. Okay, Forest, Tapu Lele. He's going to grab a Sycamore here with the Lele, most likely. He's looking through his hand to see what does he want to grab. Now, he could be safe and grab it in here, but if he probably does Sycamore and he hits a Golisopod, he will win the game. So I wonder if he wants to play conservative or not. We're going to find that here in a second. You can look through his deck. And even if he does win turn 1, these games are best 2 out of 3. We're pretending it's a tournament. And even though sometimes people get donked game 1, and they're seeing Acerola, he can't play that right now. Maybe he already has a Sycamore in hand, and he just wants to like discard it or something. Yeah, because he had to be damaged. So remember that. He just wants to put in his discard pile. Okay, so he's going to discard 2 Revitalizers and Acerola. Alright, does he find a Golisopod? And I do not see one in his hand. Oh, he's got a Dartrix. Oh, no. He's got a Decidueye as well, but his hand is just not good at all. Oh, man, it's very unfortunate for Kenton. You can see Kenton there. He hit Decidueye, Dartrix. There's no Ultra Ball or anything. Oh, man. So he'll not be able to win this turn, and we'll see a hard pass from Kenton on to Chris's turn. But let's see what Chris gets here. He gets a Rescue Stretcher, But Chris doesn't have anything either. Oh man, this is funny. It's just two dead draws just playing against each other right now. Kenton having 2 Dartrixes. Decidueye. So see, what does Chris want to do here with this hand? Does he find a way to attack? We see a Garbodor coming down, and we're going to see a Trash Lynch here. He does have a is that a Lysander in hand? It's going to Lysander, bring up that Wimpod, and I think he has enough for a knockout right now. Maybe? And yeah, he does have enough for a knockout, so Chris will take a knockout on a Kenton's turn. He's got a Decidueye. He's got an Energy on that Wimpod. He's got a VS Seeker for a Sycamore, discarding 2 Dartrix as a Decidueye. If Kenton finds a Golisopod, he will be able to take a knockout. It does hit perfect. It does hit enough for a knockout. And there is the Ultra Ball, so he will take a game as long as he didn't prize all of his Golisopods, discarding Guzma and a Grass Energy. Gonna grab a Golisopod, retreat, and first impression, doing 120 damage. A Garbodor only has 110 HP, so you can easily knock it out. Oh, Chris just hit a Eevee off that prize card too. Oh no. But we will go to game number 2. That's only his best 2 out of 3. Like I said, Kenton unfortunately getting that donk fairly quickly on Chris. But on to game number 2, we'll see what happens. Like I said, some of the big important things is how fast does Kenton get set up. If Kenton gets that turn 1 Golisopod like we almost saw there, he can easily put a ton of pressure on Chris. And if Chris gets that Flare on out, he can hit for weakness on both the Golisopod and the Decidueye. But you got to remember, with Espeon, he does 60 plus 30 for each energy on your opponent's active Pokemon. So with 1 energy, it does 180, which actually doesn't knock out a Golisopod because it has 210 HP. Chris will have to find a Choice Band at the same time too to knock it out. So that's something interesting you have to keep in mind, because he's really not going to put that many energies on the field. He only needs that 1 energy for that first impression attack, which is what he really wants to go for. He really doesn't want to try, to put 3 energies on it, use that Crossing Cut or the Armor Press. It's really not that good. I mean, Crossing Cut is good. The GX do 150, and with the Choice Band, you can take a knockout Decidueye. You can do a ton of damage that way. But we'll see what happens in the game number 2. Does Chris find an Eevee to get that turn 1 Espeon? He does have an Eevee. Alright, so there we go. And we're going to see probably an actual game here. So both players are going to 6 new prize cards, and we are going to see what happens. So Ken starting that Rowlet and Chris starting with that Eevee. The first question is, does he have a Psychic Energy? If he has a Psychic Energy, he'll be able to use that Energy Evolution, get an Espeon out Espeon in play, and start putting pressure on Kenton for sure. Just that one single Espeon can do a lot of work, because it's got that Divide GX. It can knock out some Pokemon. It can Psychic and pretty much knock out the Rowlet for sure. It has 60 HP. Psychic does 60. And let's see what Chris does. It looks like he is going to Shaman for 2, 1, and 2. Does he find a Psychic Energy? I don't see one right now. He did tap to get in, so he could play that. It looks like he's Ultra Balling right now. He's going to Ultra Ball, discard 2 cards from his hand to grab any Pokemon out, maybe grab another Trubbish, maybe another Eevee. Another Eevee here would be great because it allows him to get a Flareon out next turn and start doing a ton of damage that way, which is pretty nice. We could see a Tapu Lele come down and use a Fan Club or Bridget to get 2 more Pokemon down, like a Trubbish and an Eevee. But I think you definitely... I don't know. I don't think you want to waste a bench spot on a Tapu Lele right now, and that'd be the thing, right? I don't think you really want to put down a Tapu Lele, because then you limit yourself, because I think you need 2 Eevees and 2 Trubbishes on the bench at all times. So we do see an Eevee coming out in play. It looks like he's going to eyeball the Eevee, which I think is a fantastic card. Like I said, if he gets that Flareon, he'll be able to start swinging a huge amount of damage on these fire weak Pokemon. So that's what he really needs to do to swing this matchup in his favor. Now, regardless, it still looks good for Chris because Kenton does play a lot of trainer cards. He plays like Super Scoop Up, Ultra Balls, Level Balls, Revitalizer. He has to get really fast set up. I don't know if I said Super Scoop Up, but he plays Super Scoop Up as well. So there's a bunch of stuff that Kenton plays item-wise that Garbodor can take effect for. So that's something you have to note as well. And then once Chris gets the Flareon out, and then Garbodor becomes a fire type, and all he needs is 11 item cards discard pile, or let's see, 9 with the Choice Band, because that's 180 plus the 30 is 210, which can knock out a Golisopod. So there's a lot of things that can go Chris's way. There's a lot of things that goes Kenton's way. Kenton can put down a ton of pressure over and over again. And if Chris ever misses a knockout, Kenton has Accelerator in his deck. He has Super Scoop Up, so re-heal his Pokemon, and it's going to become a very interesting match. So, did Chris find a Psychic Energy? I do see a Flareon in hand. I do see a Psychic Energy. So, you can put that Psychic Energy in the active, use that Energy Evolution, going to find himself a good old Espeon GX, which we did not see game 1, but here it is. Espeon GX making an appearance with that Psychic. I know the second attack is Psychic. The first thing, like, I know it's like 30 in Confusion, but I just can't remember the attack name. We're not going to worry about that. I know it's Divide, GX, Psychic, and I don't know what the first attack name is. Alright, but on the kid's turn, let's see what he's got here. He's got an Ultra Ball, going to discard 2 cards from his hand. And can he get a Golisopod out this turn? That's always the question. Can he find a Golisopod? If he finds a Golisopod, he can start swinging, do 120 to the EV, and put Chris in a terrible situation. And yeah. So, let's see what kind of crazy turn Kenton can have. He almost had a turn with Donk, but he barely missed it. He's going to Ultra Ball, discard a VS Seeker and a Tapu Lele. I think that's what it is. I apologize for the glare. I did not notice that was there. But there's a Wimpod coming down. Okay. We see a Grassy into Wimpod, and we see it in both players will shuffle against 6 new cards. Now, Kenton, what he needs is like a Floatstone, Forest, and a Golisopod, and he can do 120 this turn. Or maybe a Super Scoop Up. Super Scoop Up can't pick up the Rowlet, put it back into his hand, and send that Wimpod to take do 120 to that Espeon, which is really strong because then Kenton next turn, if he finds another Golisopod, he can then take a knockout, which is really, really nice. Now, with the Golisopod, he does have a 3 energy retreat costs, so it's really hard to switch out between them. You definitely have to flip heads on those Super Scoop Ups. So let's see, what does Kenton find? He's got a Rowlet, okay. He's got an Ultra Ball, he's got a Decidueye, he's got a Golisopod, but I do not see a... Oh man, yeah, I don't see a Force in hand, and he might just have to pass here. His hand's kind of dead. Yeah, so let's see, does he just pass here? He's got a Golisopod, a Decidueye, and Ultra Balls. He could Ultra Ball discard 2 Grass Pokemon, and then Ultra Ball discard 2 Grass Pokemon again, but it looks like we're just see a pass onto Chris's turn, which I think is a fine play either way. Now, Chris did have a Flareon in hand, but it got ended away, I think. Now, if Chris finds a DCE here, he could use Divide GX, knock out that Wimpod, and put like 30 damage on Rowlet or something. He can just go he can go Psychic for the knockout. If he finds a Flareon, he can use his first attack for 60 for a knockout. So he has a ton of ways to take a knockout. He does have an Ultra Ball. This Ultra Ball can get him a Flareon, and he'll be able to take a knockout this turn with his first attack, which is really strong. So Ultra Ball, he's got a Vaporeon in hand. You definitely probably want to discard that. And let's see what other card he wants to discard. Vaporeon's not going to help in this matchup. It's definitely just for Volcanion. So we discard a Psychic Energy and a Vaporeon. And this will allow him to grab a Flareon. I imagine that's what he wants to go for. I think I saw one in his hand last turn. So if he gets a Flareon here, he'll be able to use a first attack, taking a knockout, going down to 5 prize cards, and to put the pressure on Kenton for sure. But Kenton does have a Golisopod in hand. He does have an Ultra Ball. He'll probably be able to get an attack off next turn. And let's see, what does Chris decide to do? He's looking through his deck, and yep, there's the good old Flareon coming out. So Chris will be able to take a knockout, going down to 5, and start putting that pressure on Kenton for sure. So let's see, what else does Chris need to find this turn? Well, Chris already has a Silver Bangle, so he can take a knockout on the Golisopod next turn, which is really nice. He probably needs another Trubbish, maybe another Eevee, so he can have 2 Espeons ready to go. A DCE now will be nice as 2 as well. So this Golisopod is not going to take a knockout, but we see a Lele coming down. Okay. Now I wonder what he's going to get with the Lele. I don't know if I like the Lele here. Like I said earlier, you kind of want to have like 2 Garbodors and 2 Espeons, but now that he has Shaman and Lele on the field, he will not be able to pull this off, and he will have to fill his last spin spot with an Eevee, because Espeon, I don't know which one you really want to attack with these games, but we're going to find out here what Chris decides to do. He's going to look through his deck to see what's all in there. What supporter card does he want? Maybe an Sycamore. Looks like he's going to eyeball a Sycamore. Okay, going to put that in his hand. Alright, he's going to give a little shuffle here, and Chris, he's going to take a knockout this turn. He's going to go down to 5, and it's going to be all to what does Kenton find to start swinging. So, going to give that to Kenton, going to get a good little cut, and let's see, Chris going to look through his disc cross, see what's all in there. We might see a Sycamore. There's a bunch of cards in Chris's hand, so I'm not sure what he's all Sycamoring away. I hope it's nothing too crazy. So we see a Eevee coming down, and Flowstone or Choice Band to that. Trubbish, I can't tell. And let's see, it's just going to discard just a Rescue Stretcher. So not bad at all, I don't think. Well, the thing about Rescue Stretcher being discarded is he doesn't have a chance to get out of Flareon later on, so that could be something to notate. And he's got a Silver Bang on hand, which you can put on the Espeon next turn if the active Espeon's Field Blower, if Kent plays the Field Blower to get rid of the active, and there we see a knockout, he'll take it down to 5 prize cards. Okay, so alright, so Chris is going to have 5 prize cards, and let's see what Kenton decides to do here. He does have a Golisopod, he can put that down. He's got a Dartrax, okay. He will be able to swing for 120, so Golisopod, DCE, Dartrax, Ultra Ball, discarding a Zoroark and an Ultra Ball. This could grab a Shaman. Well, looks like he's going to grab a Tapu Lele and hit a Sycamore. I think I would rather go with Shaman here and draw more cards. You see that he is eyeballing the Guzma in his deck, but I definitely don't think you Guzma here. I think you definitely just want a Shaman, set up for 6, and just hope you dig, because you need some more stuff. Kenton needs to find like maybe a Force Giant Plants, maybe some more Dartraxes. That could be really nice. If Kenton, let's see, finds a Choice Band here, he'll do 150 and then 170 with the Decidueye. He needs to find 2 Decidueyes next turn. If he finds 2 Decidueyes and a Choice Band, he can knock out the Espeon next turn pretty easily. So we see a Rowlet come down. Does he find a Floatstone to retreat the active? If he doesn't, he'll have to he'll have to discard that DCE, which is very unfortunate. When we see a Sycamore discarding a Golisopod, 2 Golospeeds, a Guzma, and a Grass Energy. It might seem bad, but remember, we do play 2 Revitalizers in the list, so he can get those back later on. And we see another Wimpod coming down. Okay. He's got a Silver Bangle. You can put that on that guy. Okay. But I do not see... Man, looks like you have to discard the DCE. Oh, no, that's not good. But he does have an Acerola for next turn. All right. So he's going to manually retreat this Dartrax, which hurts. Oh, man, it hurts so bad. He's going to sit in that Golisopod, and he'll be able to swing for 150 damage. Alrighty, so yep, there's 6, 12, 150 coming down on a Chris turn. If he gets that Psychic off, he'll do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He'll be able to take a knockout here. If he finds a DCE. If he finds a DC, he'll be able to take a knockout. He get DCE, he get Psychic, I'll do a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'll do 240, which takes a knockout. And there we see a DC going to the active. He will take a knockout here, going down to 3 prize cards. Alright, so Chris is slowly getting set up here, which is great news if you're a fan of Espeon for sure. And let's see, we're just going to see a Psychic for the knockout, actually. Oh no, he's going to look through Kenton's discard pile, see what's all in there. Now remember, Kenton did discard 2 Glissopods, but he also plays 2 Revitalizers, so that's something else you have to notate, okay. And I imagine we'll see a Psychic here for the knockout. Alright, so Garbodor coming down. Okay. And okay, he's going to look through the discard pile. Okay. Alright, maybe he's looking for another Espeon to evolve that. And nope, we're going to see a knockout going down to 3 prize cards. Alright, so, you know, Chris is coming out of nowhere. He has 3 prize cards left. Kenton really doesn't have too much. He's got a Decidueye, he's got a Shaman. It looks like he's thinking about promoting right now. And it's not looking good for Kenton. But Kenton can still take a knockout this turn. If he can send up like a Dartrax, Rowlet, or the Shaman, and then somehow retreat it, send up a Golisopod and swing, he'll be able to take a knockout. He does find another Dartrax. He can put that down the field, okay. We see a Forest of Giant Plants finally hit the field, and there we see an N. So with this, he'll put Chris down to 3, while Kenton gets 6. So Kenton will get 6 new cards. If he can find a Flowstone, Golisopod, and an Energy, he'll take a knockout going down to 4 as well. And depending on what Chris has, he could be in trouble. Now, Chris, their list, they're going to have to play Shaman instead of Ringaroo. I guess a Ringaroo really doesn't help here either, because he'll draw to 1 card. He'll draw to 4 cards. So, yeah, either way, it's not looking good for Chris right now. Even though he's up on 3 prize cards, if Kenton can take a knockout here, Chris will be left with nothing really on the field, except for that Garbodor. Garbodor could punish Kenton a lot. So we see a Wimpod coming down, okay. He's got a Super Scoop Up. There's a Grass Energy coming down. It really doesn't matter with the Grass Energy. And he's got a Super Scoop Up. It has to be heads here. If he hits heads, he'll be able to pick up that Shaman and take a knockout on that Espeon. So he Super Scoop Up. Alrighty, so does he flip heads or not? This is the first Super Scoop Up of the game that we see. And it is heads, so he'll pick up that Shaman EX, put it back into his hand, and he can set up the Wind Pod here and take a knockout. But what Ken has to worry about is how many item cards are in his discard pile. Let's think about the Dartrix, actually. Okay. We see Ultra Ball discarding a... And it's something else. Okay, 12, 34, 26, 70. I guess he's going to go for a Decidueye here. Okay. So Decidueye on the bench. And maybe he wants to double Feather Arrow the active. And then take another double Feather there, another arrow to take a knockout. Because maybe Kenton's scared of that Garbodor. Maybe he doesn't want to promote a Golisopod straight away. Because he's scared that, you know, Garbodor could get a knockout maybe on a Golisopod. I don't know. And we'll see a shame for 6 new cards. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. He also has his GX deck that he can use. And, well, Kenton, let's see, 12, 34, 56, 17, 18, 19. No, he can't go for a Sharp Blade Quills play either. We'll see Feather to the active. Okay. He does have another Super Scoop Up he could play. Alright, so Super Scoop Up number 2 coming out. Can hit flip a heads or tails on this. And here we go. And, oh, off the table. Alright, so take number 2. And it's going to be another head. So Kenton will pick up that Decidueye, put it back down, do another 20 to the active. And he's got an energy at him. He can use that Sharp Blade Quills attack and take a knockout on the active that way, which is really, really nice. 12, 16. 19, yeah. He can put energy on the active and Sharp Blade Quills to knock out the Espeon. I think that's what you want to do here for Kenton. Yep, you can put energy on the active, Sharp Blade Quills. And, no, actually, Kenton's just going to pass here. Alright, so pass from Kenton. Oh, no. Kenton attached energy to the Wind Pod. That's what it was. Okay, that's what happened there. Alright, so I guess Kenton, what he wants to do here is just give up a non-EX attacker, saying, hey, if you don't have a Lysander... well, I guess either way... he doesn't have anything either. So I guess we'll see. We could see a Divide GX, maybe knock out the Wind Pod that way. Let's see here. So what Chris could do is Divide GX, knock out a Wind Pod, and put the rest energy on Shaman, and then later on take a knockout. But we see Chris retreat the Espeon. Okay. All right. So he's gonna retreat the Espeon. And once Chris is going to set up here, I don't know what Kenton's doing either. Hey, he left. Alright, no, he's back. Alright, so Chris is going to set up the Garbodor. If Chris has the energy of Lysander and is able to knock out that Decidueye or something, that'd be crazy. So you see Psychic Energy, Lysander, bring up that Decidueye. And it looks like he's going to take a knockout here. If he has 12 in the discard pile. So see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know how many's in there. But it must be enough because Kenton let that. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, Kenton's in trouble now. Alright, so Kenton's going to send that. Oh, nope. He's going to send it the Shaman. Okay. So the Kenton, he's going to draw a card. He's got another Super Scoop Up. Now, Kenton can still take a knockout here. He's going to Super Scoop Up. Okay. See what he. Yeah, he's going to Super Scoop Up. Let's see what he decides to pick up here. So Tails, nothing. Okay. Got a Grass Energy active. We'll see if VS Seeker for an in. Putting Chris down to 1. Now, if Kenton. Let's see, he's going to find it in, maybe? He could find it in or a Sycamore. Let's see, he's going to grab a Sycamore, just discard his hand, draw on 7 new cards. If Kenton can find a Decidueye plus a Golisopod, he'll be able to take 3 prize cards this turn. Alright, he's got a Revitalizer, so he'll be able to do that. So Revitalizer, going to put 2 cards in his hand, alright? So he's going to probably have a Golisopod and a Decidueye. With that Decidueye, he can put a Feather Arrow to that Espeon GX. Take a knockout on that, going down to 4 prize cards. Okay. He can retreat and take a knockout with that Golisopod on that Garbodor, because it will do 120 damage, and that Trubbish only has 110 HP. Kenton also has a Floatstone. He's going to put that on the Decidueye. Okay. And alrighty, so yeah, we're going to see a retreat probably from Kenton and knock out that Garbodor, taking out the only real threat on Chris' side of the field. So retreat into the Golisopod, gonna do 120 damage, take a knockout, going down to 3 prize cards. And alright, so let's see, what does Chris do here? He really needs to find a Psychic Energy and use that Energy Evolution to grab an Espeon and confuse that Golisopod, doing that 60 damage because of weakness thanks to Flareon. And he does have a Psychic Energy. It looks like he just top decked it. Alright, so he's gonna have a Psychic Energy. He's gonna be able to get Espeon out, and it's gonna be up to Ken to find like an Essarola, maybe another Super Scoop Up to re-heal this Golisopod, because now he's in a terrible situation. All Chris has to do If take out one more Pokemon and he wins the game. So we'll see an Espeon GX coming down the field. Alrighty. And, okay. We'll see what else in Chris' hand. Does he have maybe an end to punish Kenton? He could maybe put Kenton down to 3. Make it where he can't retrieve that Golisopod and had to flip for Confusion, maybe. I didn't know Confusion was worth it here, really. But we'll see. We'll see what Kenton does here. He does have a type of Cocoa in hand. He could put that down. Maybe get that free treat. No. So probably another Lysander target. So let's see. We see another Eevee hitting the field. Okay. And I don't know if Eevee hitting the field would be the best thing. I guess he could theoretically be another Flareon, which would be really cool to see. But let's see what Kenton does here. He's got a card in his hand. Looks like he has a VS Seeker, which can grab the Acerola, like I said. We see a Super Scoop Up. Okay. Let's see what he gets here. He's going to get Tails. Okay. So now he's 2-2 this game. So he's 50% on his Super Scoop Up flips. Okay. I'm going to look through Chris's discard pile, see what's all in there. If Chris finds a DC next turn, he can actually win because he can Divide GX that Wimpod for the knockout because it does 100 damage on the field. So that's something you have to note as well. Neither player has used their GX attack, so Kenta could use that to get 3 cards out of his discard pile back into his hand. Okay, he does have a Silver Bangle. He's got a Guzma. Okay, Guzma here could be kind of useful. He can knock out that Flareon on the bench. He can like license. He can Guzma, bring up the Flareon, bring up his Decidueye, retreat, and take a knockout. But then you have to worry about if Chris has another Flareon, he can then take a knockout on the Golisopod. So yeah, that's there's a couple things that Kenta can do here, and I wonder what he'll decide to do. That Super Scoop Up Tail has probably messed up a bunch of stuff. So it looks like he is going to eyeball that Guzma. And I imagine he's going to bring in that Flareon and take a knock on us. He's going to bring in the Flareon, send him to Decidueye. He'll be a retreat and go down to 2 prize cards. Alrighty. So Kenton is slowly getting back into his game. It's going to be 2-1. We see a top of Coco coming down. It's going to be like, hey, no matter what, if you have a Lysander, or if you have a DC, you win no matter what. So I need to play my hand down just in case you play it in this turn. We'll see Feather Arrow to that bench, Espeon at GX. We'll see the Golisopod return it back to the X spot, and we'll take a knockout here, do 120 damage. Kenta will go down to 2 prize cards, and if Chris has a DC, he'll be able to win this turn by using that to buy GX, put 7 damage counters on that Wimpod. Alright, so we're going to draw a card, and we're going to see what is going to happen. Can Chris find a way to take a knock on the active? All he needs is a DC. He can go for that Divide GX here, okay? Now he could use Psychic at 6, 7, 8, 9. If he finds a DC regardless, he wins the game. Yeah, if he finds a DC, he can take a knockout no matter what. Psychic will take a knockout. He doesn't have to use Divide GX because it will have enough damage on the field. No, hold on, 6, 7, 8. Oh, he doesn't have Flare on anymore, so no, he has to 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's not enough. He needs a Flareon plus a DCE, and the Flareon just got knocked out. So a DC here will just fill it up. He'll be able to use that Divide GX to take a knockout in the game. So let's see, what does he decide to do here? He could maybe end him down to 2 and confuse it. That could be another thing that can help him out a lot as well. As long as Kenta does find a Super Scoop Up or a VS Seeker for Acerola or a Guzma. Because Guzma here can win for Kenton as well. He could bring up that Shaman and take a knock on it that way, which is pretty nice. Like if he had taken for Guzma, bring up the Shaman, send up the Decidueye, retreat back into it, take a knockout that way. There's a lot of different things that can go for either player. It is very, very close, and we're going to see what Chris does here. So Chris does have a DCE, and one thing to note is that Chris, this is his first time playing Espeon Garb. So the real question... The real problem here right now is that Chris doesn't recognize that he can win with Divide GX right now. You can see Kenton kind of touching that Wimpod here. I don't know if he's telling about. I don't know what he's talking about right now. All right, so see a VS Seeker, and he looks like he's going to play it in. So unfortunately, right now, Chris does not realize that he can win Divide GX. Oh baby, that is something. That is something to know here, guys. So. We'll see how this match plays out. Like I said, this is Chris's first time playing Espeon Garb. Still learning it and wanted to test it out today. So no harm, no shame, but still, we're going to see what happens. We'll just pretend that Chris has already used his GX attack for the game. Alright, so we'll see it in. Both players will get some cards here. And we see that Kenta does have an Acerola in hand. He'll be able to pick up that Golisopod back into his hand. Oh, baby. So we'll see a Psychic here doing 90. And on the Ken's turn, going to draw a card. And he has an Acerola, so he's going to pick up the Golisopod back into his hand. And here we go, Acerola, going to pick up the whole Golisopod line back into his hand. Going to send the Decidueye, and he can plop it all back down. And we're going to see probably just the energy and the Golisopod come down. So Golisopod, energy, retreat, do 120. Now, what Kent could do is maybe put a Grass Root in the active and a Hollow Hunt. That's something else he could have done because, you know, Espeon's really not threatening a knockout right now. So we'll see a retreat, and we'll see 120 damage coming down the Espeon, bringing it up to 160 HP, okay? So, yeah, gonna do 120 here, okay? There we go. So 100 in, oh, wait for it. There you go, 120. All right, so it's up to 160. He's on a Chris turn. What can he do here? Oh boy. Well, Chris's Divide GX plan has gone off the field now. Okay. He can confuse the Golisopod and hope that Kenta cannot retreat it. That could be a thing he could do here. Because if he confuses the Golisopod, it can't attack really unless Kenta flips a heads. So that's something we could see. But like I said, if Chris have noticed that he had the Divide GX. He could have won last turn. But like I said, it's the first time playing Espeon. Maybe we'll just pretend, like I said, we'll just pretend like he's already used his GX. That's okay. And let's see. Chris is thinking about what can he do here. His two cards must not be very helpful at all. And if I'm Chris, I don't know. I don't know what I'd do if I was Chris, actually. You could retreat into like a Lele, maybe. Espeon only has a 1 energy retreat cost. So that's not too bad. Alright, so it looks like we see a DC going on the Shaman, okay? He's going to retreat the Psychic Energy to the Shaman, and we're going to see a Sky Return for 30. And probably put the Tapu Lele. Alright, go put the Eevee. I was going to say maybe the Tapu Lele. That way, if you type like a Rescue Stretcher, you can get a Flare out and play. But Kenta has to find a way to knock out this Eevee. It doesn't look like he can right now. He's got a Grass Root to that bench Decidueye. He's got a Wimpod, a Decidueye, and something else in hand. Okay. What Kenta could just do here is Feather Out that benched Espeon, bringing it to 180, and then Feather Out again for the knockout. So that's the thing he can do here as well. Is just like Feather Arrow, the bench Espeon, and the next time Feather Arrow again and win the game because that Espeon will have 200 damage on it. So we'll see a Feather Arrow to the bench, bring it to 180. We'll see 30 damage to the active and on to Chris's turn. And let's see what can Chris do here. He does have a DC in hand, but he will need to commit a Psychic Energy to that bench Espeon. Okay. Let's see. He's gonna look through this discard pile. He needs to find a Psychic Energy, a Float Stone. Psychic Energy, Flow Stone, and a Rescue Stretcher. Those combinations will win him the game right now. So we see an Ultra Ball, going to discard 2 cards from his hand, discard that a Haxmaniac and a DCE. And does he have that in deck? He's going to look through there, see what's all in there. He's got the Stretcher. I saw the Stretcher while he was shuffling and he's looking through there. So he has the Stretcher to get a Flare on out. He just has to find a Flow Stone and a Psychic Energy and Stretcher. Oh boy, this is going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. Alright, so he does have Shaman in hand. So what he can do here is Ultra Ball for Pokemon. Shaman for 6. Okay. And then hopefully he finds a supporter card. So let's see what does he grab with the Ultra Ball. He can dig through a lot of stuff in deck. So he's going to grab the Tapu Lele. Okay. If there was a Trubbish in there, I'd rather grab a Trubbish than Shaman for 6. And then you hopefully hit the Tapu Lele and then put that down because you need to draw your whole deck essentially this turn. If he can draw through his whole deck, he might have a chance to win right now. So it looks like we're going to see a Shaman set it up for 5. Okay, let's wait for it. Oh, wait for it. Come on down, Shaman. And okay, so Shaman for 5, 2, 3. He's got Psychic Energy 4, 5, and 6. He finds a Sycamore, a Lysander, a Garbodor, Okay. So what you can do is put down the top of your Lele and grab a supporter card out of there, because this is Chris's last turn. There's no way he's going to be able to survive after this. After this, Kenton will be able to win the game. There we see Sycamore. He's doing Sycamore straight up. And does he find a Floatstone plus a Rescue Stretcher? Going to get 7 new cards out. Does he find it or not? Alright, does he find a Stretcher plus a Floatstone? He has a ton of cards left to deck, and I don't think he has it straight away. And it looks like Kenton will take this game, unfortunately. And I wonder what would happen in Game 3 if Chris would have saw that divide. It's still a really interesting matchup for sure. It looks like he does have a Floatstone, but he doesn't have the Stretcher, unfortunately. So Kenton will be able to just feather that bitch Espeon GX and take the game, and Kenton will win this 2-0. And that's gonna be the Golisopod versus Decidueye deck. And there we go, Chris showing he really doesn't have anything. Yeah, he can't do anything, and there we go. Kenton will take the game 2-0 against the Espeon Garbodor deck. Espeon Garbodor is still a fantastic play for Worlds. Don't sleep on it. It's still very strong, even though Gardevoir GX still does exist. But guys, hope you enjoyed this video. This is day number 2 of Burning Shadows testing, and later on we'll see Decidueye Golisopod versus Guardy GX on Friday. And I know that's a big matchup everyone wants to see. But guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see the deck list, links are down below to them. Alright guys, hope you have a great day. Alrighty, bye. Alright guys, I just want to give a quick shout out to our 3 sponsors, 60 Cards, Yeti Gaming, and the Pokemon Company International. Links to everything will be down below in the description. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Alrighty.